Good evening, folks. It's Diamond with the Oppenheimer Ranch Project, Magnetic Reversal News, Sacred Geography, and Shinrin Yoku, bringing you a grand solar minimum update Sunday, February 26th, around 8 p.m. Mountain Time 2023. We are currently in geomagnetic storm, forecast to get to G3 geomagnetic storm in the next 24 hours, and that means human health risks. But the big story, snowfall tops 6.5 feet and rainfall tops 5 inches across Southern California. Keep calm, it's boom time. Massive winter storm that brought rare snow to parts of California, thankfully, is now moving east. Unfortunately, multiple storms are on the horizon, adding insult to injury. Thousands are without power as the California storm brings rain, snow, and cold. And earlier today, we had the map up here, 274,000 without power still in Michigan from the historic ice storm that brought down over 8,000 transmission lines. 73,000 were without power about 4 hours ago. Let's refresh this and see how it's changed. Okay, so California getting a little better. 12,000 people have restored power and about 100,000 power restored in Michigan. So things are looking up. But more storms are on the horizon as snow, ice, and rain to impact the Midwest and the Northeast early this week, with an impactful snow arriving late Monday in central New York and lasting through Tuesday. New York City also bracing for the biggest snowfall of the season with as many as 3 inches forecast for the metro. And snow is expected on Tuesday for Boston, and it may be the biggest storm of the season for some people in that region. And here's the forecast. A significant damaging wind event is expected today across portions of the plains. I can attest to that. This morning, that significant storm took hold of the Four Corners region before it ripped across the country. We had quite the windy experience with snow. Check out the short I put up earlier of me driving to town this morning. A strong storm will develop across the plains today. This storm is forecast to bring significant damaging winds from the eastern Texas Panhandle into much of Oklahoma and southeast Kansas late this afternoon through this evening. That's now. A few strong tornadoes will also be possible. Meanwhile, heavy snow over the Cascades, Sierra Nevada, upper Midwest, and Northeast will make travel very difficult. And take a look at the blizzard warnings all the way up through Tahoe. Hello. Now, if you come over to Oppenheimer Ranch at Diamond the Dave, you could see some amazing things that we post before the show launches. Obviously, you'll get the most recent updates. But here is the NATO cast currently coming in, and you can see that area that could be affected by tornadoes overnight. So heads up if you're in that region. Please come over to Oppenheimer Ranch Project at Diamond the Dave and follow us. Let's check out the GFS model and walk it through. Here is all the way through mid-March. You can see the Northeast, like a beast, has 4 systems to deal with. So here we are through Monday into your Tuesday. Monday, that system is going to be moving through Wisconsin, Michigan, and into Pennsylvania by Tuesday morning. And you can see the amount of snow that falls in the west, including more significant snow for the Sierras. As that continues on Tuesday in the Sierras, the snow continues to fall in the Northeast Tuesday through Wednesday, dumping 8 to 10 inches across most of the Northeast, north of the Poconos. So in that central region, going to be some significant totals while the snow builds in the Sierras through Wednesday. Take a look at that. 4 to 8 feet more snow where 6.5 feet has already fallen. A storm will move down the Four Corners region here Thursday into Friday, March 3rd, and then it will bomb out across Missouri, Illinois, Indiana, and Michigan. Eastern Michigan, which hasn't had much snow this season, is going to be the big winter chicken dinner, as well as the Northeast, as this second system lays over quite an impressive total. And look at this, the line all the way going down towards Philly there, or the northwest suburbs, for the next nor'easter coming through here on March 4th. Another system behind that will add insult to injury, and then late in the models, a 4th system coming through. Who knew? As well as the upper Midwest. So we'll keep a close eye on these systems. What we do know is that this setup is definitely happening. And then March 3rd and 4th, there is definitely a nor'easter that will be moving through. Shut up, Al. Get in your hole. That's too much snow for him. Seismic update. No quakes of note. The largest rocker in recent moments is this 5.0 out in China at 10 kilometers. We did have a blot echo earlier today, 5.1 in Indonesia at 190 kilometers. No after effects there. So all is quiet on the Ring of Fire and elsewhere. As we move over to the worldwide volcano news update, Kerinci volcano in central Sumatra. Explosive events are subsisting. Today, local time, 1623, Kerinci produced an ash plume that, well, puffed, and passed. High above the crater, leaning eastwards, gray, thick smoke appeared, but at Popocatépetl in Mexico, moderate explosions covered the summit area with hot lava fragments, and it was quite spectacular. The activity at the volcano remains essentially unchanged. A relatively powerful explosion occurred late on Friday evening, showering a large part of the upper cone with incandescent lava fragments. And Karangitang volcano in northern Indonesia, hot avalanches start to form. These are called pyroclastic flows, and the volcano started to generate these pyroclastic flows on the southeastern side. These are turbulent avalanches of hot lava material mixed with hot air and ash. Whoa, I just said that because if you're standing there, it will literally burn the flesh from your spine. Space weather news update. We have a few sunspots peppering the disk. There's the big story, the M6.8 or 6.3 that's headed our way. NOAA and NASA have upgraded the geomagnetic storm watch to include the possibility of strong G3, KP7 level storms within the next 24 to 48 hours. This would be in response to the possible combined effects of two CMEs. We refer to this in the scenario that we're looking at as cannibal CMEs. Take a look at the aurora forecast. Absolutely spectacular. Get out there if you're in Canada right now and all through the night, as well as tomorrow night. We could have some spectacular aurora as the geomagnetic storm increases potentially to G3, KP7, and that means human health risks. Unfortunately, geomagnetic storm risks. Once we get up 7, 8, and 9, we're looking at risks from geomagnetic storm, including heart rate fluctuations, heart attacks, strokes of all kinds, acute coronary syndrome, blood pressure increase, seizure, migraine risk, anxiety, stress, emotional instability, cognitive diminution, suicide risk, mental disorder, radiation risk if you're flying at high latitudes. That means near the North Pole or the South Pole. Alert for diabetic patients and those with metabolic disorders, and for airline passengers in high latitudes. So heads up, we have geomagnetic storm risks for the next 12, 24, maybe 36 hours. Hours of powers. As the storm just kicked in after the first CME right around here made itself known. We have quite some time. Plasma speed now well above 600 kilometers per second, and we're seeing continued perturbation in the Phi and the BZ. So this is going to be quite an event, long duration. Here we can see both of the flares. The first flare pushing the protons up, but not high enough to get into storm. 24 hours ago, that M6.3 pushed us into a radiation storm that is now ending. So that lasted for about 24 hours and is now precipitously dropping off. But if we look at the newest model from WSA, Enlil spiral here, you can see the cannibal nature. So the first weak puff here and here is the M3. Let's go back and I'll show you what we're talking about here. So we have an M3.7 and an M6.3. And so the first one comes out is the M3.7 on the 25th. And then the M6.3 comes out on the 26th, much faster and behind it. And here you can see them, the M6.3 cannibalizing the other one for a multiple impactor here it's saying on the 28th. That's 24 hours from now. If we already had the first impact here from early plasma, this could be a very long duration and quite a significant geomagnetic storm. The biggest geomagnetic storm we've had maybe all cycle. So heads up, things may be developing in the next 24 hours that could get quite interesting. So stay tuned for more updates as the boom, well, it's rapidly heading towards us. SpaceX and NASA launch new crew of international astronauts to the space station. SpaceX and NASA are preparing to launch a fresh crew to the International Space Station, continuing the public-private effort to keep the orbiting laboratory fully staffed. As Apollo Soyuz from Russia just went up to the International Space Station to rescue some people stranded there, unfortunately. Interesting data point here. The mission will mark the 7th astronaut flight SpaceX has carried out on NASA's behalf since 2020. Way to go, SpaceX. Now, have any of you heard about the haunting mermaid mummy? It was discovered in Japan, and it's even weirder than scientists expected because they've studied it. Now, this mummy is part of Japanese folklore. But new analysis of the mummified mermaid found in a Japanese temple has revealed exactly what it's made from, and it's not what scientists thought. Now, the centuries-old mummified mermaid that scientists recently revealed to be a gruesome doll of animal parts is even weirder than previously thought, according to the new findings. In 2022, researchers discovered the mermaid, which is around 12 inches, 30.5 centimeters long, lying inside a sealed wooden box within a Japanese temple located in the Okayama prefecture. We do have some exclusive footage of that. That is what they found in the box. Look at it. It's like sitting on diapers or something. It's kind of creepy. But the researchers thought it was made from the torso and head of a monkey sewed onto a decapitated fish's body. Head of a monkey, decapitated fish body, mummy. Kind of creepy. The haunting hybrid, which resembles a ningyo from Japanese mythology. A ningyo, which is a fish-like creature with a human head that is fabled to help cure disease and increase longevity. It had previously been displayed in a glass case at the temple for people to worship before being stored away more than 40 years. A letter inside the mummy's box claims that the specimen was caught by a fisher sometime between 1736 and 1741, but it was likely created decades after this as a hoax to sell to affluent people wanting to improve their health. And that's in fact what they did discover. They did carbon dating. It only goes back to maybe the early 1800s, and it's pretty disturbing. Most of the middle torso isn't even body parts. It's like cloth and glue and some other stuff. This is the tail of a croaker fish, and they have other fish parts and skins from animals. Just a creepy concoction, all for a hoax, folks. Now, what's not a hoax are the microdiamonds discovered at a French winery, and they point to an ancient meteor crater below the vines. A vineyard sits within an old impact crater in southern France, according to new research. A circular depression that holds a vineyard in France is actually an old impact crater, according to new research. The crater sits in the appropriately named Domaine des Meteors winery near Cabodoya in southern France. The feature was first tentatively identified as a meteor crater in 1950, but a study in 1964 argued against the identification because the crater had no elevated rim, and scientists who authored the study could find no evidence of the kind of magnetic field anomalies that are found at impact sites. But since then, they found gravity anomalies, nanodiamonds or microdiamonds, and many other key proxies to determine that it is indeed, a crater. New examination of the site reveals that there is indeed a magnetic anomaly within the crater. What's more, fragments of rock in and around the depression show signs of being subjected to hard shock, and there are pockets of melted and re-solidified rock, as well as microdiamonds that form under great pressure. The researchers will report on their findings at the 54th Lunar and Planetary Science Conference. A new discovery indeed, and, well, quite a unique wine. Now, a bizarre geologic activity on Venus. Completely spectacular. And they're calling it a squishy outer shell, and it may be resurfacing the hot planet. Pretty fantastic. This illustration we're looking at here shows the large Quetzalcoatl corona located in Venus' southern hemisphere, which depicts active volcanism at the center and a subduction zone around the edge, perhaps. Because these are the structures that are being revealed on the planet. There is some kind of cracking of a thin lithosphere here on Venus. This composite radar image of the Quetzalcoatl corona was created by overlaying data from about 70 orbits. And they're now just getting the memo that the surface is cracked and there's a thin crust. Here, this radar image from NASA's Magellan mission shows circular fracture patterns surrounding the Ain corona located in Venus' southern hemisphere. The corona is about 124 miles across and shows various features that may be associated with volcanic activity. Pretty interesting. Now, while Venus doesn't have Earth-type tectonics, these regions of thin lithosphere appear to be showing or allowing significant amounts of heat to escape, similar to areas where new tectonic plates form on Earth's seafloor, which, by the way, are very thin plates. Ocean plates are the thinnest, averaging just about 10 kilometers. So, Venus may be developing some crustal plates. And here's the paper: Earth-like lithospheric thickness and heat flow on Venus consistent with active rifting. And you only get rifting if you've got plates. So, have a look at that, won't you? More interesting space geology. The planet that shouldn't exist. Many of you may have heard about this, but we'll bring it to your attention here. This is the case of the hot Jupiter. This is a large gas giant that is closer to the star than our planet Mercury is to our sun. And this should not be possible based on the standard model of cosmology. But as of this writing, almost 5,300 exoplanets spanning approximately 4,000 planetary systems have been confirmed to exist in our universe. With each new exoplanet discovery, scientists continue to learn more about planetary formation and evolution that has already shaken our understanding of this process down to its very core. Just like I said, the standard model is dead. One such example is a hot Jupiter. These are Jupiter-sized exoplanets or larger that orbit closer to their parent stars than Mercury does to our own. This is in stark contrast to our own solar system, which has rocky planets close to the sun and gas giants, well, very far away. Hey, hey. And here's the paper, TOI 2505b, a short period Jovian planet transiting amid M dwarf. Say that 5 times fast. Now, the U.S. EPA will continue waste removal on Monday after, well, several states were concerned that these toxic materials were being transported there, as were we. Now, so we're going to just take the toxic material from East Palestine and move it around into Michigan and Texas, the nexus of the schmexus. So that's the plan, Stan. Keep it moving. As Dark Money Group, pushing the gas stove crackdown, is revealed to have significant financial stake in green energy. I wonder if Al Gore has anything to do with it. Probably. If you want to get up to speed with real science, check out our other channel, Magnetic Reversal News, where Leah and I, over the last 2 weeks, have put together a 2-part series on 536 AD, the worst year to be alive on Earth. And, well, that's not so true. It was a very bad period of about 100 years. Part 1 and Part 2, both on revolution.radio and now on Magnetic Reversal News for you to peruse. Links will be below right after the video. And that's a boom to knowledge. I hope you got something out of the presentation. We love each and every one of you. Thank you all for watching the show. Subscribe if you haven't. Please share this with like-minded people. Most importantly, support the work we do. Become a Patreon. For just $1 a month or more, you can watch all of our productions commercial-free in one place. You don't have to go search them out. You don't have to worry about missing a notification. We publish at least one video every day, sometimes 2, sometimes more. But we are very prolific. So stay in the know. Become a Patreon. Be safe. We'll see you soon.